Hi and welcome to the subject selection video for psychology, a general subject. The aims of psychology are wide-ranging, but in essence, it can be summarized that we are trying to understand contemporary issues and human behavior. We will look at a number of different theories and topics to help us see just how people interact with their environments and how our internal workings of our mind and brain contribute to our thoughts, patterns, and perceptions. We'll look at a number of different research techniques, such as experiments and research investigations. We'll do laboratory investigations into the brain, as well as consider a number of theories and claims that have been made historically by psychologists. In terms of choosing this subject, you should keep in mind that satisfactory grade in science and English assume knowledge for this subject. Science, because obviously it helps us with the underpinnings of the scientific method, and English because of the reading and writing requirements of the assessment tasks. Though psychology is not generally a prerequisite to any university course, the understandings that you will gain through study of psychology will help you in a number of different pathways, whether it's through a university course or through other pursuits that do not require university. On the screen, you will see that there are a number of different professions and pathways where psychology is able to give us some great insight into how people operate within different fields. In education, it helps us to understand our students better and the way in which they learn. In marketing and business, it helps us understand human behavior and what contributes to people making decisions on a financial basis. In community and social services, helps us in the field of psychology itself, but also for counselling, social work, etc. So if you are interested in any of those fields, psychology is a fantastic subject to help prepare you for some of the interactions that you will have with other people. The psychology course is structured under 4 units. Units 1 and 2 are completed in terms 1, 2, and 3 of Year 11. And Units 3 and 4 are completed in Term 4 of Year 11 through to the end of Year 12. You will notice that each unit has a different topic. Unit 1 is individual development, Unit 2 is individual behaviour, Unit 3 is individual thinking, and Unit 4 is the influence of others. You should also notice that the topics generally do not repeat themselves. So students know that as they progress through the course, they will be studying a vast number of different areas. This has implications for your assessment. I've highlighted the assessment at the end of Unit 3 and 4, but those assessments also are mirrored in what you will have in Units 1 and 2, which I'll talk about towards the end of this video. You should keep in mind that as a science subject, your external examination at the end of Year 12 is worth 50% of your overall mark. Therefore, students should keep in mind that regular study is required to maintain the understanding of the different topics that we will cover. Let's have a look at Unit 1, Individual Development. In this unit, you will start by developing an understanding of the scientific method and how it applies to research in psychology. Part of this will be understanding how to use data effectively, requiring you to do things like statistical analysis, calculate different statistical measures, and draw conclusions about what statistics tell us in terms of how valid the results are. In terms of other topics in Unit 1, we will look at the brain and its structures, and we will do a brain dissection, a sheep brain dissection, I should say, and look at the different ways that the structures work together in order to create thinking and behaviour. We also look at cognitive development, how the brain changes over time and how this leads to changes in thinking for people as they age. We will also have a look at sleep and consciousness as topics, and your student experiment will focus on your own sleep patterns in comparison to other students. In Unit 2, we will look at individual behaviour. In looking at this topic, we'll first consider intelligence as an essential aspect of what the nature versus nurture debate is about. We will look at diagnosis of psychological disorders such as anxiety and depression, and the different treatment options that support those disorders. We will also look at emotion, how it's regulated, and then consider theories of motivation and how people begin to motivate themselves towards set goals. Unit 3 marks the beginning of Year 12 studies. This unit is called Individual Thinking. In this unit, we will look at the brain further and the nervous system, how we process emotion and movement. We also consider memories and the different processes that goes into creating memory and retrieving memory. Visual perception is also studied. We will look at things like illusions. And finally, we look at theories of learning, such as Pavlov's classical conditioning and operant conditioning and social learning theory. Unit 4, the final unit for psychology, is called the influence of others. Social psychology makes up a large portion of this unit. We will look at topics such as conformity, power, and status. And in doing so, we'll look at some fascinating studies and theories, such as the Stanford Prison Experiment study, the Milgram Shock Experiment, and Asher's Conformity Experiment. Later in Unit 4, we will consider other phenomena to do with influence of others, such as the bystander effect, which is where we either offer or do not offer assistance based on the number of people around us. We'll consider things like stereotypes, as well as cross-cultural psychology and theories related to how we integrate different cultures within society. Assessment in psychology is distributed as 4 tasks per year for Year 11 and Year 12. You will notice that the assessment techniques mirror from Year 11 to Year 12. For instance, in Year 11, your first task is Formative Internal Assessment 1, Data Test, and in Year 12, your first assessment task is Internal Assessment 1, Data Test. We complete these same techniques in Year 11 to prepare you for the different genres and ways of responding so that you're prepared for Year 12. You will also see at the end of Year 11, we complete an exam that is worth 50% on Units 1 and 2. This is to prepare you for the type of assessment technique that you will face in your external exam at the end of Year 12, which is also an exam across 2 units worth 50%. Students should note the assessment demands require extensive writing, as well as being able to interpret and apply understandings from statistical analysis. Students will be provided with feedback throughout the assessment process to allow them to reach their potential in terms of their assessment response. Thank you for watching this video on psychology as a general subject in Year 11 and 12. I'm sure that you'll find it as fascinating as a subject as I do.